So tonight you got the Heat back in action. They're in Philadelphia. It feels like a game that the Heat have to have. I mean, you make these moves, pick up Love, you pick up Zeller. Your main guys are healthy. We're in the last stretch of the season. You're about to lose 5 in a row tonight? And then while you come home for a 6-game homestand, this homestand's no joke. I already gave you the teams. Philadelphia, New York, Atlanta twice, Cleveland twice. Very difficult homestand. So this is no joke tonight for the Heat. You got to win this game tonight. I don't need this shit in my life. 5-game losing streak, and we're about to get into March, sitting 7th place in the East. Come on. Garbage. Anyway, before we get to big deal or not a big deal, there was big NFL news this weekend, or at least as far as the Dolphins go. Byron Jones. So Byron Jones, we all know, in the preseason, training camp preseason, Byron Jones was on pace to be ready for the start of the regular season. That's what the coach kept saying. No updates. He's on pace, confident he'll be ready for the start of the season. Someone was lying. It was likely the coach. But someone was lying for us to get from no reason to believe Byron Jones is not going to be ready for the start of the season to he never plays, and we get to him tweeting out on Saturday this. So Byron Jones quote tweeted a tweet from the NFL Combine in 2015 calling Byron Jones Mr. Broad Jump. So he was spectacular at the Combine. And Byron Jones quote tweeted that on Saturday, saying, "Much has changed in 8 years. Today, I can't run or jump because of my injury sustained playing this game. Do not take the pills they give you. Do not take the injections they give you. If you absolutely must, consult an outside doctor to learn the long-term implications." Okay, a couple things. To what I was just saying, if he can't run or jump, why were we continuing to be told he was going to be ready to play at the start of the season? So like I said, someone was lying. Number 2, and hey, I mean, it's a sad situation for Byron Jones if this is the case. It sounds like he's retired. He's retiring, right? Although later I saw tweets saying that he's not officially retiring. I mean, that sounds like he's retiring. And he did, by the way, he added, and let me add another part of the tweet. He then finished off, the next tweet said, "It was an honor and privilege to play in the NFL, but came at a regrettable cost I did not foresee. In my opinion, no amount of professional success or financial gain is worth avoidable chronic pain and disabilities. Godspeed to the draft class of 2023. That sounds like a player who's retiring. I mean, if he's saying that it isn't worth it, good luck to the next group of players who are coming into the league, but he's not retiring. That it sounds like he just retired. But anyway, here's the part that, yes, I mean, you feel bad for Byron Jones if he can't run or jump anymore, but this isn't 1970. This isn't 1980. This isn't even 1990. We are in a day and age with sports, but especially football and medicine, where did Byron Jones not know the risks of entering the NFL in 2015? Because we knew in 2015 all of the risks. I mean, I feel like we always knew, but we really know all the risks of playing professional football. Was Byron Jones not aware? Because this was a choice he made. He chose to come to the league. He didn't know players get injured. He didn't know that they're going to give you pills or injections or what have you. And it's how this violent, brutal game works, which all of us are aware of now and have been aware of. And no one forced you to play. So I understand the guys with the head injuries, and not even just head injuries, who are old men now. They're in their 50s, 60s, 70s, and we just didn't know the effects of football. We know all of the effects now. We know all of this. So, I mean, Byron Jones is saying it was an honor and a privilege to play in the NFL, but it came at a regrettable cost I did not foresee. Byron, like, what didn't you know? No one forced you to play football, and it's a super violent game which can create injuries that affect you the rest of your life. Byron doesn't know this. We all know this, right? So it's weird to me. I don't know. Like, he's playing the victim here, and I guess he is the victim, right? But it's not like we don't have this information. It's not like we didn't know what's going on. So that's weird to me. It's also weird that he's not officially retired. That sounds like a retirement to me. Anyway, so there you go. You had a little bit of Dolphin news over the weekend. But overall, terrible sports weekend. The Heat lose twice. The Panthers lose 3-1 on Friday. And by the way, the Panthers are now way behind again. The Panthers were first place of the 2 wildcard spots for like 3 hours last week. And now they're way down the list again. Really behind. They play Tampa. Play Tampa tomorrow. The Heat lose a couple times. The Panthers lose. The Hurricanes lose, but they're lucky they still control their own fate because Virginia lost. Inter Miami's the one that saved us. Oh, and by the way, Major League Baseball? Yo! I love that clock. If you haven't seen what's going on with Major League Baseball, if you haven't seen the clock, okay, so the pitchers, they have to pitch within 15 seconds. The batters, they have to be in the box and looking at the pitcher ready to go by 8 seconds. Or it's a strike on the pitch on the batter. If the pitcher's not ready, it's a ball on the pitcher. And I'm going to tell you something. These players, they're going to learn. They're going to learn. Going to get the kinks out here in the spring training. You're going to learn. There was a game over the weekend. The pitcher, it was a 2-2 count, I believe it was. He's doing all the bullshit with his glove and the ball, and he's flipping it. He's touching here and he's touching there. Hey, ball 3. You took too long, playa. I mean, and then a different game, I think it was the Red Sox and I forget who. It may have been bases loaded, but it was bottom of the 9th inning. Tie game. Full count. The batter was not looking at the pitcher by 8 seconds. Umpire steps out from behind home plate. Strike 3. Game over. Because they do ties in spring training. They don't go to extra innings. Strike 3. The game ended on a called strike 3 by the umpire for the batter not being ready. Now, I don't want to see that in the regular season, and I don't think we will see that in the regular season because for the next month, go learn. The pitchers and the batters, they're going to have it figured out. They're going to get all these kinks out now, and you're going to be used to it by the time the regular season starts. But you're going to learn. We're speeding this thing up. And it's not like, oh, this isn't baseball. No. Go back and watch what baseball looked like in the 80s. Go back and watch what it looked like in the 80s. These guys were pitching, get the ball back, pitch again, get the ball back, pitch again. The batteries, he's barely stepping out of the box and back in. It was smooth. The game is going to start, because of that clock, the game is going to start to look like what it used to look like. And you're all going to like it. It's going to be so much better. It's so much quicker. I like the shift. Guess what's happening now? No shift. Now you got singles. Now you got guys who are pulling the ball where they want to pull it. You got guys running around the bases now. Let's get back to what baseball is supposed to look like. These pitchers and these batters, go learn. And now it's just spring training. But I saw some stat the other day. The average time Major League Baseball game last year was like 3 hours and 9 minutes. And through the first couple days of spring training games were 2 hours and 33 minutes. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. I love it. These players going to learn. We're going to get back to some action. Faster pace. Let's get some running around the bases again. Not everything needs to be home runs and strikeouts. Let's get back to a game that's watchable. So I was very encouraged by what I saw over the weekend. Hey, if you're looking for a fun place to go hang out on the beach, you want to come back in, get some drinks, get some food, you know my spot's Briny Irish Pub. Briny Irish Pub, Pompano Beach. You got live music 7 days a week. Briny Hour, that's happy hour, 4 p.m. every weekday, including today. You got live music getting going tonight at 6 p.m., all right? And it's Monday, means you got Monday Night Prime Rib Special. You want a place to watch the Heat game? Go park behind the Briny, by the way, world's greatest upscale dive bar. Atlantic Boulevard all the way to the Atlantic, but park behind the Briny because they will validate your tag. Take a picture of your tag, show it to your server. You will not have to pay for parking. Go walk around the beach. You dip back in. All kinds of craft beers. Craft beers on tap. Like I said, Monday night, get yourself prime rib special tonight. Watch the Heat game. Enjoy some live music. Briny Pub Pompano on Twitter, at Briny Pub Pompano. Briny Irish Pub Pompano Beach. You know that's my spot. World's greatest upscale dive bar. Let's get to big deal or not a big deal. Come on. You know what I'm talking about on a Monday. Big deal or not a big deal. Here's what we got first up for you guys. So, the Marlins are in spring training action, of course. The Marlins were taking on the Mets yesterday. Now we know that the New York Mets, their color analyst, all-time great first baseman, Keith Hernandez. Well, Keith Hernandez was going over the Marlins' defensive alignments, and I don't know if he said Jazz Chisholm's name right.
You've got De La Cruz and Sanchez returning in the corner outfield positions. They can play all over. Chisholm is gonna start in center field.
Yeah, that's not his name, Keith. Look, it's a family program. I'm not going to say it. That's not his name. Come on, Keith. That's disgusting. You got kids watching. Get control of yourself here. That's a big deal right there. You got kids watching. They don't know what that word is. Now they're saying to their parents, "What's jism?" What? No, Keith. Come on, man. Big deal or not a big deal? Sunday afternoon, because they were overseas. They were in Saudi. I think they were in Dubai. Jake Paul, Tommy Fury. My son and I, we watched this fight illegally, of course. My son and I, we watched this fight on Sunday afternoon. This fight sucked. Boxing stinks. It's all hugging and grabbing and clutching. Boxing sucks. I like Jake Paul. I wanted Jake Paul to win, but he definitely lost this fight. He ended up knocking down Tommy Fury in the final round. It wasn't enough. It was a split decision. One judge had Jake Paul by a point. The other two judges had Tommy Fury by 3 points, even though Jake Paul had at least one 10-8 round, including that 8th and final round because he knocked him down. But how about Jake Paul giving that respect after the fight?
Oh, we just said respect. You know, that was a good war, a good fight. He was impressed by my skill. He said, "Look, I've been doing this since 6 years old, and you've been doing it for 3 years, and you put up a war." So, you know, it was cool. I love the sport for this reason, right? You can be enemies beforehand and saying all this crazy stuff, and then when you beat the blood out of each other at the end of the day, there's just respect there, and that's why this sport's so cool.
I'm going not a big deal because while I like watching the Paul brothers, I mean, Logan Paul is amazing in WWE. I'm a big fan. And I like watching Jake Paul because at least it adds a little bit of spice to boxing. Boxing sucks. But now what? Like, the whole deal was Jake Paul is going to start fighting real boxers. And while, while Tommy Fury is a real boxer, from what I understand, he's not very good. And it's why most everyone was picking Jake Paul. And then Jake Paul lost to this guy. In a fight he definitely lost. And it wasn't a good fight. I don't know where we go from here because the whole allure was, who's going to be the guy to shut up Jake Paul? Well, this guy. Now what? So, I'm going not a big deal. Big deal or not a big deal? Speaking of spring training, so yesterday in the spring training game or over the weekend, the Cardinals spring training, their manager, Oliver Marmol, he came to home plate before the game started to shake home plate umpire C.B. Buckner's hand. How you doing? Let's have a good game. Buckner refused to shake his hand. Refused. Apparently there was some type of incident last year, and Buckner can't get over it. So, Marmol after the game said he's not surprised, a terrible umpire. He has no class as a man. MLB is looking into the situation. They're investigating. Now, if you're the umpire, C.B. Buckner, you can't behave this way. I do want to point out, you don't know what the argument was last year where he threw Marmol out of the game? Like, maybe Marmol told him, "You're a piece of shit, your mother's a whore." Like, I wouldn't want to shake his hand the next time I saw him either. We don't know what was said. But it doesn't matter. Because if you're the umpire, if you're supposed to uphold the integrity of the game, if you're supposed to be fair and unbiased, you can't, nothing personal can come in the way of any of that. And now, every time C.B. Buckner is doing one of their games, I'll be watching thinking he has it out for that team. So, this is a major problem. And I would say C.B. Buckner likely needs to be suspended. That's a big deal. Finally, got one more for you here. Big deal or not a big deal? 11 years ago, yesterday, you had one of the all-time greatest celebratory clips. Pete Weber, Hall of Fame bowler. That's right, bowling. Everybody knows PDW, Pete Weber. He won some kind of championship 11 years ago yesterday, and you had maybe the most famous championship celebration of all time.
Strike to claim it. A strike to claim it. And he got it!
That is right, I did it! That's number 5! Are you kidding me? That's right! Who do you think you are? I am! Get it right!
Unbelievable clip. Who do you think you are? I am. A line that lives in infamy. Now, we did find out. Now, this is a big deal, because I love that clip. We did find out years later that he got tongue-tied. He got his words twisted. Apparently, someone in the crowd, he was saying it to someone in the crowd, because someone in the crowd was like rooting for the other guy, was saying he's the best. And Pete Weber meant to say something like, who do you think you are rooting for him? I'm the best. And instead he said, who do you think you are? I am. Which makes no sense. Who do you think you are? I am. Oh, I love it. So that's a big deal. Anytime we could revisit the great PDW, Pete Weber, who do you think you are? I am. We're having a good start to the day. And that right there is another edition of Big Deal or Not a Big Deal. Yes. Excellent job by everybody involved with the show today. Putting together a great show, getting the week started for y'all. So I had a great time with Inter Miami this weekend. My son's soccer team, West Select U14 boys, very pleased with that. My dog Shaggy, he's going to be okay, even though he ate rat poison. Pretty sure we're taking care of it. He's good. Appreciate everyone with good wishes. If you're listening to that right now, like, oh, ZASLOW, I hope he's okay. Thank you. I know you're all thinking that. I appreciate you. Is it possible? Can we start the show tomorrow feeling good about a Heat win tonight, and then looking forward to a Panther Lightning matchup? Let's get a huge 2 points there on the ice as well. Is that possible? Can we possibly feel that way tomorrow morning? Well, make sure you like, you rate, you comment, you do all that good stuff. Tell your friends, tell your family about ZASLOW Show 2.0. You can always hit me up at ZASLOW Show on Twitter. You guys know that. We'll talk to you tomorrow on ZASLOW Show 2.0. You know what that means.